This episode, myself and the crew head out to a local beach to test and row the new Racer Row Oar Board Rower with Olympic gold medalist Adam Kreek. This is the story of Whitehall Rowing Sail. I'm Harold Aune. Marie Hutchinson and I started building Whitehall Spirit rowboats over 30 years ago. These classics are handmade in teak, bronze, and fiberglass and built to last 100 years. We also build rowing boats in maintenance-free space-age thermoplastic. And the Oar Board Rower that converts a paddleboard into a high-performance rowboat that stores in the apartment and travels as luggage. Join us in the shop, the office, on the road and on the water as we revolutionize the sport of rowing. Woohoo! If you like our content, please like and subscribe. Your comments are welcome. So here we are at Willows Beach, and we're here to test out the Racer Row narrow version. It's a prototype. It's about 4 inches narrower than the regular Racer Row. We got Adam Kreek, we got Dan Lesieur, we got Lexi the Magnificent, and myself. So this is what we do in the back end. Go out here and test equipment. What do you think about that, Adam?
Well, I'm pretty excited to test the new board. You know, we imagined this many months ago, and it's moved from imagination to reality. So we're going to see how much roll this has, how stable it is. Usually the thinner the hull, the faster it goes, but it's also more challenging to row. I'm just excited to see how it feels.
Dan,
Sweet. Are we going to race you on the other boards then, Adam? Or what do you think? Let's see how this goes out there. No one's racing Adam. Let's be realistic here. But it'll be fun to give these boards a try out. So
I'll beat you for 20 strokes, but if it's a longer race, say 13 hours, you might have the advantage.
There we go.
And Lexi's here giving us a hand. We dragged her out of the shop, and here she is.
Not a bad day to be.
No, not a bad day at all.
In your office, in the shop, definitely.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's get rolling. We're testing the new 14-foot Racer Row. And this is a narrower version. It's just a prototype. So we'll see how it is. Adam's going to try it out.
Yeah, well, I think some people will like it. 24 inches wide. Let's see how she goes. Ooh. So one thing you really need to pay attention to if you're rowing narrower hulls is to hold on to the handles at all times. The beauty of the Oar Board Adventure series, because it has the wider hull, it's super stable, and you can actually let go of the handles and you're not going to tip, and the boat will be quite stable. But as this hull is only 24 inches wide, you're going to have some issues keeping this upright, and I can already feel the roll right now. This is exciting. So one of the best ways to keep stability on a rowboat is to row directly into the wind. That's one of the most stable ways to row. The wind goes against you, helps set up the boat. Oof, I can feel it. I can feel the roll. See if I can get my blades off the water. That's the challenge with the narrow board. Can you keep the blades off the water when you tap them out? It's actually quite pleasant. More stable than I was expecting. There's more stability on the hull when you have boat speed. When I say boat speed, that means your rowboat is moving. So as it moves through the water, the pressure from the water pushing against the hull, and the speed keeps it upright. Which means that the boat is a little more tippy when you sit still. And when you do have a boat that's less stable, you're going to have rolling. One of the secrets is to let the boat roll underneath you. I'm curious to see how this feels as we go through this wake. You're going to see a wake of this big fishing boat. One of the biggest problems with having a racing shell is that it gets very uncomfortable going through big wakes. Even though this is 24 inches wide, which is much, much narrower than our adventure boards, it still is wider than a racing shell. Let's see how it handles the wake. Oh, I'm feeling it. It's pretty good. Let's go back to the beach. And I feel it as I turn. I'm really feeling the oar board shift. But I can definitely notice there's a bit more motion through the water. Double check. Harold's on the beach taking some video. He does a great job. Interesting side fact, not only has he invented all of these boats, but he's an incredible photographer, videographer. So very hands-on. Yeah, definitely feeling the roll on the boat. One of the things to keep in mind, and partly it's the waves that I'm rolling through. The waves from that motorboat. I'm starting to surf a bit. That's fun. It's always fun to catch a wave. There we go. Get some good speed. When you're rowing a more tippy boat, blade depth really matters. If you look at the blades, you almost want to picture the top of the blade, the top of the hatchet. That's right there, you can see it. You want to try to keep that as level with the surface of the water as possible. Sometimes people will dig. They'll dig their blades in and you'll row kind of like this. What you want to do is try to row linearly. Put your blade in, lock into the water, and pull a linear stroke. I'll see if I can make some linear strokes as I row closer to the beach. The linear stroke not only gives you stability, but it also gives you more efficient power. You're applying your power properly, and it's not getting wasted. You're putting all of your effort into pushing the boat forward instead of when your blade digs, it lifts the boat out of the water and sinks it in, lifts it out and sinks it in. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to back it into the beach. I'm going to try to do a bit more of some power strokes and see what kind of speed I can get on this boat. You can see all the waves are coming in and pull in and go. Down a bit. As the boat rocks, it requires a bit more speed, a bit more skill. You have to really focus on grabbing onto the water. Grabbing onto the water at the catch and holding onto it all the way to the finish. The catch is where you put the blade in. The finish is where you take the blade out. I like to think about the finger-foot connection. By that I mean, think of your fingers. I like to think of rock-on hands right here. These little fingers right there. Linking them on, and at the catch, I'll push my feet away. I'll be pushing off a bit more of the balls of my feet, and as soon as I push with my legs, I'll feel the pressure on the balls of my feet and the pressure on these two little fingers connect at the same time. And the reason why I focus on the middle two fingers is that it allows you to be a bit more relaxed with your hands. Just like if you're a great tennis player, golfer, or even if you're a pickleballer, you grip too tightly to your sporting equipment, you're not going to be as athletic, you're not going to be able to build the skill nearly as effectively. But if you can find that balance between power and relaxation, you're alert and calm, you're better able to use this equipment and gain all of the physiological benefits, all of the spiritual benefits, and even the mental benefits. Which board do you want me to come in and try?
The other Racer Red, the regular one, the red one.
Roger. There we go. We've got Sarah. She's been out on another Racer Row. We'll say hi to her. How's she rowing? Yeah? It's fun. Now you can see how it rolls just a little bit more. Do you feel the difference? Yeah. Still pretty stable.
So what'd you think of that narrow little sucker?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
You can feel more of the roll,
Yeah.
but with the challenge comes the advantage and the fun. I
That's
went
true.
out and I did some harder strokes, some higher rate strokes, and noticed that you had less of a hull limitation factor.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes with the wider boats, you put on the power, and the hull is wider, and so it slows down the run a bit.
Yeah. More wetted surface area.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah.
There was definitely more play.
How was it when you went through those boat wakes?
The boat wake, it was actually pretty good. It was more stable than I expected.
Yeah.
Well, how narrow could we make one of these inflatable boards while still being able to keep its form?
Well, no problem with drop sticks. You could go down to another couple of inches, maybe even 20 inches.
Well, the width of the oar board carriage
Yeah.
would be interesting to
that's
go.
12 inches wide.
It's
Oh.
more than 12 inches, maybe.
We could make one and see how it works. Let's put that in the wish list. That sounds like a good idea.
Well, I'd do it. What would be interesting is to make it narrower and just a little bit wider.
Yeah.
We'd make like
I have rode shells, but I'd give it a go.
Well, I think you'd have fun, and I'd
Yeah.
enjoy watching you fall into the water.
And you'd probably get to see that too. Yeah, that would happen probably, assuredly. So anyhow, let's try out the regular one and get your opinion on that.
Yeah.
Like the 28-inch beam.
The other 28.
Okay, off we go.
I have to make sure, something to be aware of is when you're going out, make sure that the oar board unit is centered on the deck of the boat. It'll make it easier to balance, easier to row. And the way we make these oar board SUPs, we've got these handy little lines that are centered on the board, so it can give you a good idea of where the oar board carriage needs to be sitting. You eyeball it up, that's Good enough. When you're mounting an oar board in shallow water, sometimes it's nice to be able to straddle it. These narrower boards make it more possible. And you can just slide the board underneath you. A very easy boarding of the vessel. Right now the waves are really calm and the wind is really calm. If there's a bit more wind and a bit more waves, you have to be aware of actually being shoved on shore, and that can cause a little bit of fright, and it can, the equipment will be fine because it's pretty strong equipment, but we don't want you to get banged up if the wind or the waves pushes your boat into an awkward position. So it's always important to be aware of what the wind and the waves are doing. We're in an outdoor sport, and there's no fighting Mother Nature. Every time before I row, I check in on a couple of weather apps to see what the wind's doing. We're on the oceans, so tidal waters. I'll make sure that I've got a good idea of what the current's doing. I want to say hello. We're going to do a docking. Oar board docking. Oh, yeah. Oh.
There it is.
Hello! How are you? Who do we have? Who's on our feed? Hello, Judson and Carl. Where are you guys from? Can you type? Can I type?
Yeah, you can type it, you can read it.
Okay. Yeah, where are they from? Do you see it?
You have to be taken back quick for us to spot it, but if you answer us, we can find out where you're from. We're here in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear where you guys are from, where you're watching from.
Yeah.
We're on the west coast, finally in some sun. It's about 5:15 p.m. and we had a pretty gray day with even a bit of rain. And it turned into this afternoon.
That's
So.
beautiful. Well, my wife was we're on the ocean. My wife was down here yesterday. She saw a whole bunch of orcas. They came right by here.
How awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible. And wouldn't that be amazing if we saw some orcas today? Okay, I'm going to undock. It's a great way to cool down after a good oar board workout. I like to stretch. And so the way I like to stretch is to lean forward, sit up tall, and feel a slight tug and tension in the hamstrings. Feel the weight on your butt where your glutes turn into the hamstrings, where there's that curve of the butt. Get the weight right there where the hamstrings hit into the glutes. Lean forward. What I like to do is lean forward, then pull my heels towards me and take one stroke and then stretch again. Hold that. For about 10 seconds. And do it one more time. Hold that body angle, sit up tall, chin forward, tuck slightly, eye on the horizon, hold the heel into the butt, and take a stroke, and stretch. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you on the water.
Next episode, join artist Chrissy Nickerson as she rows and paints her way on Penobscot Bay in her Whitehall Spirit Solo 14.
Hi, my name is Chrissy Nickerson. I've been on the water most of my life, whether it be in my parents' boats or on canoe trips. But as a rower, I've been participating in this sport since I was in grade 9, so around the early 90s, let's say.
Here we are in the wilds of Willows Beach, and it's Diane Lesieur slowly creeping up on an Adventure Row 13 Fords. Just landed here on the beach, and she's got it in range. And I think she's snapping away. Yep, there it is. You don't get close like this very often. These boards are tricky. They can take off and run away in a second. Let's see. Oh yeah, she's got it. It's captured. Good deal.
A world of adventure awaits you. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for more adventures. Check out our website at oarboard.com and whitehall.com.